We'll update things for you shortly. Stay with us. Eyewitness News at 6 is next tonight. Chris Gordon and Maureen Bunyan. Stay with us.
Now from Channel 9, Washington's news station. This is Eyewitness News.
Hundreds of roads and bridges tonight lead nowhere fast, bisected, dissected, and otherwise severed by floodwaters racing through parts of central and northern Virginia. In some cases, leaving families cut off from loved ones. Good evening, I'm Chris Gordon, in for Gordon Peterson.
I'm Maureen Bunyan. Governor George Allen tonight has declared much of Virginia a disaster area. Seconding that motion would be hundreds of people caught in the muddy waters or the mess they are leaving behind. We begin our coverage in Madison County, Virginia, with Channel 9's Dave Statter.
The tale of Morgan Duncan, 9 months old today, and stranded with her grandparents on the wrong side of what was the Route 230 bridge.
Did you know Morgan was okay?
Well, in a roundabout way.
Mom and Dad, Greg and Paige Duncan, came from east of Charlottesville to the washed-out bridge at the Rapidan River.
I see you gonna get that baby now.
The Duncans climbed through the debris to get their first glimpse of Morgan.
Morgan, what is going on?
She looks like she's saying that.
Little Morgan was brought down the makeshift trail blazed by rescuers hours earlier and across the swollen Rapidan, up to her waiting parents.
Come on, honey.
We came up the Shelby Road.
Come here,
it was
baby.
fine.
Oh.
How sweet. How you doing, sweet?
Hi, sugar.
Hi, darling. Hi.
How you feeling now, Mom?
A lot better. A lot relieved.
How's Morgan doing?
It looks like she's doing fine.
Parents had a rough day, it sounds like.
Mom had a rough night last night. A very rough night. And I think she did fine.
Running out of supplies over there?
I think so. I think they're running out of milk. The formulas, they didn't have any water to make the formulas. That's what they were running out of.
Elmer Lamb was another one who came to the 230 bridge in a reunion with his family. He traveled 12 miles by foot. What was it like?
Yeah.
This isn't a forest growing here. This is everything that's washed down river and hit the bridge. All this vegetation has created a dam. The roadway's gone, but there's at least some new overhangs in place.
Love you too.
Love you too.
Be careful.
Thank you.
Across the chasm on 230, Paige Duncan said goodbye to her parents.
Yeah.
Frank Bond spent the day at the other end of Madison County where there's still some people unaccounted for. Photographer Tom Howard toured the area with Governor George Allen. There should be sound up 4 or 5 seconds of Allen.
By the flood, and when crews reach some locations, there's not much to find.
There's some crews up here. Travis and one rescue worker was up here.
Okay. This is all that's left of Ann Frisbee's home just outside Criglersville. The entire house washed down the mountainside. Mrs. Frisbee has not been found.
But it's really gone down since yesterday, huh?
Countless towns throughout central Virginia are cut off from surface transportation as rivers and creeks overflowed their banks, tearing up bridges, depositing debris in the roadway, making them otherwise impassable. In Remington, residents can no longer drive across the tracks into town. Now they must drive around the Rappahannock.
My husband works at North Anna at the nuclear power plant, and he leaves at 5:30 and usually is at work by 7. And he called at 9:30 this morning. He had just gotten to work because of the flooding in Greene County and Madison and the closing of 522.
Governor Allen surveyed the flood damage from the air today. He's already declared this region a disaster area, but relief will come sooner to some than to others.
If you don't live on a major road, it's going to be a while before you can get anything.
Jim Graves has several guests stranded in rented cottages. They're okay, but stranded nonetheless.
You stay in the room up there, and then that way you have food and everything, and then we're trying to get the power on, but all the poles up here have been washed away, and this is the major line.
The roar of the rushing water makes communication as difficult as rescue. In town after town, the water is high, the debris deep, the damage widespread. The sad truth is some of the rivers have not crested. The worst may be yet to come. And right now we're on Route 29, about 25 miles north of Charlottesville, and crews are working to reopen this bridge over the Rapidan River. They hope to have that work completed by the weekend. Meantime, in some of the smaller towns up county that haven't yet received state help, well, they're helping each other and helping themselves, but they do believe that it could be weeks before their lives return to any semblance of normalcy.
Frank, a great deal of resources have been brought into Madison County and this region, and this is the hardest hit portion following the storms of the last couple days. Light rain falling here now. Earlier today, the governor toured this area. Our photographer, Tom Haller, joined Governor George Allen.
Now this bridge here, while this is an expensive bridge, at least, you know, you can use the 2 lanes here on 29 to get north and south traffic.
The resources brought in included many helicopters, including a Marine Corps helicopter that was involved in a rescue this morning. They were working on that rescue with firefighters from Fairfax County who joined in the search this morning and were able to help people out of the Rapidan area. Other resources were brought in, including Coast Guard helicopters. The U.S. Coast Guard helicopter brought in a young child this afternoon with the family. The child was in good shape. They had their hands full yesterday. They brought in about 10 to 15 people, including 2 boys who were stuck in a tree.
They lowered me down on a hook, and I carried a rescue strap with me, a little safety strap. And when I got close enough to him, we grabbed each other, and I wrapped the strap around him and hoisted him clear into the helicopter. And then they put me down again, and the second guy was in the trees pretty thick, so they just had to throw me into the tree branches. And I climbed in after him and got the safety strap around him and called for a pickup on my radio.
The lines of communications have been broken, telephone lines, water lines. There's a great deal of urgency in telling everybody to conserve water down here. And, of course, they're trying to repair the roads so they can get to some of the people and not have to use these helicopters. That's the story from Madison County. Chris and Marie?
Frank, you mentioned that this is not the end yet, that the waters in some places have not crested. What's being done to prepare for perhaps even worse flooding to come?
Well, at this point, in some of those smaller towns, for instance, we have had people evacuated and moving to higher ground. But once again, they're doing that informally by word of mouth. The problem is that even though it's just misting, this mist is keeping the ground from drying up, so there's no absorption whatsoever. Every bit that comes down still remains runoff. And for instance, the Rappahannock hasn't yet crested, so we'll just have to see what happens in the next couple of days.
Frank, thank you very much. Dave Statter, thank you very much. Chris?
We move now to a breaking story in Prince George's County. The bomb squad is at a garden apartment complex in Glass Manor following the discovery of a number of explosive devices there. Channel 9's Miriam Hernandez is on the scene with this live report. Miriam?